Hello, fellow WHOvians. Welcome to another edition of the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. And today is a special day. As you notice, we did not do our show on our normal day because we had a special from our friends in the Space Book. And we want to thank Dan Hadley for hosting with a bunch of other folks. And we'll be talking about that a little bit more throughout the episode. But welcome. Today has been designated. And you can use the hashtag DWPD, which stands for Doctor Who Podcast Day, August 9th. This is when the declaration of Doctor Who podcasters come together and we celebrate everybody who has not only a geekdom in Doctor Who, but we celebrate their triumphs of making their own podcasts, whether it be past, present, and future podcasts out there. And I met a lot of them last night as well. But today we are celebrating Doctor Who podcasts, and we are going to be doing something a little bit different tonight, because normally what we do is we normally have a guest on our show and we interview them and we talk to them, like Sophia Miles or Eric Roberts or Sylvester McCoy or Paul McGann and many guests that we've had on tonight. Today, we're going to be doing something different because I'm going to be interviewing these guys right here, all of them. This is a different take on the show because what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking to these folks. Go ahead and take off, put on your mic there. Yes.
The guest is us. We're the guest.
So today, the panelists, who you are favorite panelists, whoever you have your favorite on, we have the Reverend Amagon from Rebs, Rage, and Rants. By the way, you got a big shout out from Dan over at the show yesterday.
I know. That threw me off there a bit. Made me think, I should say something prophetic. So here's something that's very much so.
Wisdomous.
When asked why there was only one set of footprints, Jesus replied, "Sand people ride single file to hide their numbers." Very prophetic.
Okay, never mind.
That was so funny.
Yes.
Oh my God, I can't wait to tell my husband that joke. That was great. Oh, bravo.
Send to Kevo.
Nice. Make sure you get it there. And welcome. We were going to be talking with Kevo Reilly from X's for Show and Mackenzie Floor in just a few moments. I'm hoping and I apologize for the slight delay. Melanie was trying to get on. I think she managed to get in and out there, but I'm going to have them introduce themselves. So Melanie, am I ready to pull you in? Are you okay? You got it? Okay. There we go. Lovely. She's going to be doing the chats because
I hope I'm working.
Oh,
there
we go.
You're back.
little crackly, but that's fine. Hey, I'm glad for it. So let's go ahead and introduce our panel for tonight. We've already spoken to him, so let's go ahead and say hi to the Reverend Amagon. You can check him out on his YouTube channel, Rebs, Raves, and Rants. Well, he has to put it that way because I can't speak. I can't say the title too well. How you doing?
Alliteration, Rebs, Raves, and Rants.
No, can't. No, I am not Sylvester McCoy. I'm not going to try.
Ruffles of ridges.
How you doing there, Tom? Better known as the hashtag guru of the show.
Hello there. It's your boy, Tasty Cake. So, couple things today. I got my new phone. Ooh.
Fun.
First smartphone ever.
Yay.
Oh.
And I'm also promoting a certain band named Von Bolt.
Now, who are they?
It's a heavy metal band. You can check them out like us. We have our YouTube page. We're all on YouTube, on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. So check them out. Nice little heavy metal band set in Las Vegas. There's someone I know are the band.
Do they have any familiar pieces that people might know offhand, or are they kind of like an indie band?
As in band, you check out their website. They just released a couple songs. One was Spider Queen. The latest one is called Cemetery Party. Their new album comes out in October. Back of my shirt.
Hallowed be by name. Hallowed be my name.
Hallowed be thy name.
Gotcha there. And Ramona says hi.
Hi, Ramona.
Everybody, we're going to be saying hi to everybody who are in the chats out there. There's no Dave tonight, Ramona. I'm so sorry.
Dave's not here, man.
He might try to get in. I think he was a maybe, but we're hoping for the best. And hello, Roger. Hello, everybody. We got everybody talking to each other tonight, and we welcome you here so much. Speaking of welcoming you here, let's bring on the great Kevo Reilly. Kevo Reilly from X's for Show and Husband Talking More or Less. How you doing there, my friend?
Doing good. You know, doing our thing over on X's for Show, having a good old time. We did some Doctor Who coverage a few weeks ago. I got the episode cover here. It was a fun time. I have this thing that I love to do called shortcuts, where I do condensed runs of things. And this was sort of like a starter pack to give people the idea of if they would like Doctor Who at all, let alone, you know, give an idea of Doctor Who in full. And it was a fun time. We do a lot of stuff like that. This week we covered the Star Trek, the Lower Decks crossover in addition to the musical. So that was a lot of fun. And yeah, just a lot of general geeky stuff.
Roger says, imagine podcasting without YouTube and the internet. It has to be done on radio or television documentary, which I was doing for a while because
radio shows, yeah,
I did it for a while. That's how we started off with day one 5 years ago, the day before we premiered for Jody, and it was our good friend Garrett Palmacher who came to me and goes, "You're going to go on video," and I said, "I have a body for radio. I have a face and a body for radio. I don't want anybody seeing this book." But apparently everybody stuck around with it, so here we go. I'm there. Speaking of sticking around, hello, Mackenzie Floor. How are you doing?
Doing good. In fact, going off of what you said, I came from Gen Con, and we did have somebody who actually wondered if we were just specifically just audio, and I had to explain that no, we actually do have a video now, that we used to be just all audio. So yeah, we've evolved.
The future.
Yes.
The future.
We have a new face now, you know.
No, it's about, and I'll just remind everybody, just in case if you're one of those who does like to listen to audio, because I know people who don't watch us on the videos as much because they like listening to us going to work, or you know, they're having a long trip. You can get us on iHeartRadio, sci-fi.radio. You can download the app for free. Odyssey, Spotify, Spreaker, wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, that's where you can hear us as well. But if you want the full content and everything, you definitely want to check us out here on our YouTube channel, our Facebook page, Twitter, X. God, I can't even get that right anymore. So this is
Still say Twitter. I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, I refuse to call it X. It just sounds like something that wouldn't be appropriate for TOS.
Well, now you got X's for
the
show.
Messages are called skeets. No thanks. No thanks. Tweets.
Well, wait a minute. You have a show called X's for Show, so you kind of own Twitter on that right now.
I mean, it's
you have a market
like
stay on Twitter,
really.
Right now.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna sue Elon Musk. You heard it here.
Good luck. Absolutely, good luck. Good luck on that one. I'm like, oh, really.
All the emeralds for me.
Yes.
There you go. And you have a lovely voice. It is the lovely Jean. You can check her out on her Instagram, Pieces of Melee.
Yes.
And there we go. Yeah, and today is Doctor Who Podcast Day. This is the day we celebrate, and I'll explain that in just a moment. But Melanie, how you doing there?
I'm doing quite well. I'm kind of glad I went last because I was able to rifle through my desk to find something for all you young whippersnappers.
Oh.
It's called an iPod.
Oh my God.
Called podcasting.
Is it engraved?
Oh heck yeah, it was engraved. But the second I got my I got it engraved and everything. This is 80 gigs, baby. But yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
Because way back when, in order to do podcasting, it was because you were doing a radio program and you put it on this little device called an iPod, so you podcast. And that you could actually
it's a video too, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, this only had this little amazing screen. Only it was a screen so you could see what you were
it was a thumbnail technically.
It was a thumbnail. It was basically your screen to see what was it was all text. Because if you didn't shell out for this bad boy, you could get the iPod Shuffle, which was that little tiny device, and
that's what I had.
Yeah, because I had that for like a lot of people who were into running and stuff like that would have the Shuffle.
I'm on that, yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, this is why there was a thing called podcasting, and you could on the very bottom of this gigantic it's no longer lightning anymore, it was 10 pin. You could get a little device, and we used to do this way back when I worked in the art room. I was a graphic designer. There was a bunch of us doing production art. You could take this little device and plug it into this, and it would stream out a radio signal, so everybody else could then take their radios and tune into whatever you were podcasting, so that way everybody could listen at the same time. But yeah, I keep all my technology. See, I still even have all my covers and all that kind of fun stuff. I don't throw anything away.
I'm stealing this because I great minds think alike. Mark Robinson says, Melanie, is that a TARDIS from London behind you? I see it.
It is.
Don't hide it.
Yes, it's my own little boy blue. And there goes my dog walking in.
I don't have a dog alert. It's just the cat alert, dang it.
My husband's on a Target run, so I have to keep the door open to know what the 1.5-year-old puppy's up to because she's huge now.
Can we see the TARDIS, or is that? Can we see the TARDIS?
Huh? This is a dog trying to eat my hand. That's Echo.
He looks like he's trying to destroy your hand. He's an
idiot.
Yeah. My husband and his boyfriend have one just like it. It's his name is Bucky, and he's adorable, and he's an idiot, and he is a monster, and he tramples over everything, and he tries to eat everything. Very sweet, but that's
Hi.
Hello, princess.
Hi, little terror.
She's 65.
Well, we're not going to stop at the hand. We're just going to go after the desk now.
Yeah, she'll eat everything.
Oh my God.
Chomp chomp.
Put everything in your mouth. Sorry. Okay. Anyway, yep, doing good. For me, I had back-to-back shows. I did San Diego Comic-Con. I was in the art show there, and then the following weekend was Tampa Bay Comic-Con. So yeah,
I know you guys are you and Dave were on Crazy Train.
Yeah,
it was like we're just holding the fort down. But then you guys were just like, okay, I'll do the chats, I'll do everything, and I was like, God, I need you to.
I think Gen Con was the same. No, it was last weekend, wasn't it?
I think so.
Mackenzie?
Yeah.
You're muted.
Mackenzie.
Yeah, it was last weekend.
It was last weekend, yeah, because you and Dave were
at Gen Con. We were there from Wednesday through, I was there through Sunday. And then I think you stayed overnight because I got an invite from him. He goes, I want to come hang out and do dinner. But like, sorry, I had already gotten on the road by that time.
You load out, you're like, bye.
Yeah, bye.
Sorry, I'm not
Yeah,
hanging out
yeah.
around this dock.
Yeah, it got to the point. This Gen Con, I mean, Gen Con was fantastic. I can say that. For me, this was the biggest Gen Con I've ever been to, and also being the biggest Comic Con I ever been to. And there was somebody who told me at the Grand Rapids Spring Show, they said, "Yeah, me and my husband go a couple days where we don't talk to each other at all." And I'm like thinking, what? I just didn't get it. But I understood it this time around because there was it was Saturday night. Myself and my wife went to go to dinner. We went through a drive-through, and then she pulled the radio on. I'm like, I kind of liked it quiet. And then she's like, really? I thought we could have some nice music while we're eating dinner in the car, blah, blah, blah. A couple minutes later, she turned it off. She goes, yeah, you're right. I like the quiet.
Oh, jeez.
Quite nice. Oh, silence is really golden.
So, yeah.
Yeah, you really, after that, it's like, I'm used to what Motor City Comic Con does, which is May. That usually does somewhere between 50,000 and 70,000. Gen Con did that on one day. And this was a 4-day show. So I don't even know what the final number was. I think it was 120,000. I don't know though for sure. I know it was a record number. It was insane.
And every convention is already scooting their dates around for next year. So
get
your calendars ready to be like, yeah, I'm going to rebook.
Oh God, they have MegaCon and Pensacon in the same month.
Oh, well, yeah, that's kind of like what they did in November. There is Grand Rapids, and then I think the following week is something in, I don't know, Port Huron, I think is where it's at. And then there's Motor City in November, and I'm just like, I'm doing Grand Rapids. That's it. I can't do back. I've tried doing a back-to-back con like that, like what you did with San Diego, and it's too much for me. It's
a lot. It's a lot of planning. Oh hell, my was MegaCon, and then I left MegaCon, drove home, threw everything inside my house, grabbed my bags, and went onto a plane to London for Star Wars Celebration because those were right up against each other too.
Oh,
I wish these people would just please space each other out. If you space it out, then more people will go to all of you and make money.
Yeah, exactly. No. And I feel like that's going to probably be the same way for me, feeling that way and going into November, simply because I'm doing Doctoberfest, which I think is 2 weeks before Grand Rapids. I think I got to actually look at the calendar. It might even be a week between the two.
Just a friendly note to all those people who do convention planning, beginning of the month, because that's when all the people who are attending have money. Don't do it at the end of the month because they have to save that for rent for the next one. Just word of the wise.
Yeah.
But the same thing when cosplayers get together and go like, oh, I don't have a cosplay to wear at this convention. Yeah. And they're just like, well, 2 weeks before that's probably not a good idea. Roger, yeah, we're in Florida, so we know about drizzles. We know about storms.
Oh, yeah. And the other, going off a note about for people who do these shows, this would be more a note for attendees that are attending the shows. Don't go up to somebody in Artist Alley and talk to them multiple times for multiple hours. We are there we love you, but we also are running a business. So for you yakking for multiple times, that is not helping us bring business.
On our bingo cards, and we have them, there's a space for a booth barnacle. And we love you, but don't make me check you off my bingo card as a booth barnacle. Please don't.
Wow, that's great.
That's what happened to me at Motor City. One of my dear friends.
I'm wearing a t-shirt like that for the hashtag.
3 hours talking
booth
to
barnacle, babe.
Yeah, and I had to. They were like, "Well, we thought that you would get lots of traffic." I said, "No, in this type of world, that means they see you. They means, oh, they're too busy. We don't want to talk to them." And as a result, I had the lowest numbers in Motor City ever. And I can say it was because of my friends.
That's a problem with conventions. People don't realize, and I've said this on previous shows, you don't realize how much of a family reunion it is sometimes. And we have friends throughout the conventions, and the only time we get to see them is at a convention. And that's it. And it's really, you're cramming down what you want to say in a whole lifetime in 3 days.
The best practice for that is when you go to the person's booth, move to the side. You could still talk
Yep.
and engage, because I'll talk to people all day long because I haven't seen them since, a year or two, or Lord, with COVID. But you gotta move to the side and be cognizant of the business aspect and the person that you gotta keep, talking and engaging and all that kind of fun stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do that. Yeah, and the thing is, being a radio show, and when we have our panel, our booth out there, there'll be people who speak to me for 3 hours, and I'm just like, I'll give them all 3 hours. The problem is you're trying to talk to other people to try to get more subscribers and stuff like that, but they're like, as soon as the panel's over, they'll come up to me and they'll spend 3 hours. I'm like, this person's interested in my show. I got it. And you don't want to be that guy to go over and just like cut them off.
That was the reason why I didn't tell my friends to go away. But I later, and I kid you not, I had people come up to me that Sunday complaining about them. So that is something. They were complaining that they couldn't get to my table because of them.
That's when you have to learn the age-old time to disengage them by going, "Oh my God, it's been so great to chat with you, but you have a really good con."
Exactly. At one point, my neighbor felt so bad. She started to do things like, you need to go to the bathroom, or, doing the things that you would normally would to get somebody in retail to go away. It didn't work for my friends. They just moved to the next table and then swarmed that person and stayed there talking to them forever. So it's like, it just didn't work. Eventually they got onto the idea that, but unfortunately my sales hurt so bad that I'm actually not doing Motor City next year. And I feel bad because that's where all my fan base comes to, is at Motor City. But I can't go to that when they're going to be there and swarming my table. And even talking about that, it's just like the one person's like, "Oh, I'm going to be an author like you, and I'm going to be behind the table." Like, yeah, go behind the table, and then you'll understand what I'm talking about.
And we say the term booth barnacle lovingly.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love Doctor Who at 60. He says, "Booth barnacle is nothing like a lot lizard." There we go. Well, folks, we're going to be right
sometimes.
back. We're just going to take a quick commercial break. When we return, we're going to be talking about Doctor Who Podcast Day. What is this? Where did it come from? And I'll be interviewing my team out here. You get to ask questions. You get to talk to Melanie. You get to talk to Tom. You get to talk to Kevo, Mackenzie. And if you want to throw some questions at me, that's fine.
Don't be a booth barnacle.
Don't be a booth barnacle.
Well, here you can be a booth barnacle, actually. I take that back.
You can be
affix yourself to our ships. No, we don't. Don't do that.
Got it. We'll be right back after these messages.
We are a touring acoustic duo crashing kitchens around the country. We go from house to house every Friday night, and we create music, we create food, a good time, we stream it live, and we do it for free. So now we're just really kind of like trying to develop it and build a community group that people believe in, then they'll help us. So we played from our rehearsal room, we played from the bathroom, thankfully that didn't catch on.
I probably played guitar in my room, not for anyone, in front of anyone, nobody heard, for probably about 10 years.
And then one Friday night, we played from the kitchen. It's the main place people want to be. It's where the food is, it's where the drink is, it's where the best lighting is. You can go to any party and I guarantee you, the kitchen is going to be popping.
Our ultimate goal, I think, would be to crash kitchens every Friday all around the world.
Oh, brilliant! It's hard to believe that in the 56-year history of the greatest sci-fi television show in the English language, there has never been a fan guide to Doctor Who. The official books might give you what they think you need to know, but only a guide written by a true fan will give you what you really want to know. Join WHOvian, the brilliant Mackenzie Flaw, as she takes you on an intensive journey inside the world of the first female Doctor. In the Binge Watcher's Guide to Doctor Who, Season 11. Right, let's get a shift on.
Oh, Mackenzie, don't think I didn't see you dancing when she says the brilliant Mackenzie Floor.
Meet the Doctor.
I'm the Doctor.
But not the one you were expecting.
All right, sexy. It's time to go home.
Doctor Who Velocity. Streaming now.
I saved the best one for last because now you can see at the bottom. Wait a minute. Why is that? No, wait. Who did that? No, I got to get rid of the scrolling. There we go. Boom. If you want to join into that game, you can sign up for free. Doctor-Worldsapart.com/r/4276. You can use that as our referral code. If not, you can just sign up at Doctor-Worlds Apart. You can play the game for free because I got to go to that meeting. I got to see today, which was really cool, was they were talking about the game being mobile. Unfortunately, I had to leave early because I was doing some other things, but there was a discussion that they are now introducing that game will be going mobile shortly. So fingers crossed, because I think that would be nice that I don't have to load up the computer and everything. You can get on your phone and just play Doctor Who Worlds Apart. We'll see how that goes out there.
I got that.
So, Doctor Who Podcast Day. The reason why this day has been designated August 9th, because on that day, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I'm hoping Ken's hoping somebody from the podcast that we did last night is in there to correct me if I'm wrong. Doctor Who Podshock was the very first Doctor Who podcast to broadcast on August 9th, 2005. So they were the trendsetters, and I believe there were 3 gentlemen who ran that, including a gentleman by the name of Ken Deep. And the show has kind of gone off, but they are talking about coming back. But that was the very first podcast. Flash forward to 2023, and our friends over at the Spacebook, Dan Hadley. If you hadn't catch it, I'll try to see if I can put the link in the chat somewhere. But geez, Louise, it was a 4-hour run of 9 different podcasts talking to each other, being hosted by Dan Hadley of the Spacebook. And Podshock started today. Yes, it started today, but I was making sure I got the year right. I appreciate that at 60. So I wanted to make sure. I think it was 2005 that they started it. They started way back when out there. And of course, we're making a big day celebration, but not for the Valyard. He looks a little bit pissed about that. But making a big deal for people who been running Doctor Who podcasts since day one up until now. It was just nice to have the 9 of us over there. You can see on the screen, we had James Naughton from Podshock, Ken Deep, who runs Long Island Doctor. We look like Hollywood squares.
All of you are looking down.
I took a picture. There was no. I took like 5 pictures, and there was no picture like where all of us were like, face front or, and I think Ken was a little bit tired because you can see him nodding off out there. You can see Mark Baumgartner from Mark Who 42. You can see Dwayne from the Sirens of Audio. Drew Meyer from the Doctor Who podcast. Martin, I think, is also from Podshock, if I'm not mistaken. Rob is from the Cloister Bell, and Dan Hadley was the one hosting. He was in the upper left-hand corner from Type 40 Doctor Who podcast. But there's so many of them out there. I'll take Christian to block. Nice. It's a WHOvian square, so I think I like that.
Look, it's the square.
We should do that sometime. We should do like a traveling TARDIS WHOvian squares.
You could get that, people. Awesome. Heck yeah.
I'd pay for that. But just to see, that was just 9 of us together. There's a whole plethora of podcasters out there. And definitely, if you find anybody, please support them. Shows like this, others like that. But we want to celebrate this day in particular. for the podcasters who do an excellent job of running their show, whether they've been around since 2005 or they're just starting out right now. So Melanie, as we get started over here, I'm going to start you off there. There's a simple answer to this problem is arrange an after party in the bar. Yep. Melanie, we're going to start interviewing everybody in the panel with the exception of me, because now this is your day today.
Yes.
So Melanie, I'm going to ask around, but I'll do a round robin. Melanie, where was your gateway drug getting into Doctor Who? Who was the doctor that pulled you in? And when was this? Do you remember?
I'm just gonna. Well, the earliest memory would be with 4, watching it with my dad. But I'm not good with dates and times. I am not good with years. Something could have happened 10 years ago. Something could have happened 2 years ago. I'm not gonna remember. My brain's timey-wimey. But like I said, I remember watching the 4th Doctor with my father. That part I do remember. After that, sometime after the reboot, so it would have to be after 2005. It was somewhere during, let's see. It was during Matt Smith's run, but I finally started going back to watch Eccleston to start with 9, and it took me a while to get through, and then tried again. So that's that.
Do you remember if it was it 70s or 80s when you got into Tom Baker? I'm assuming you grew up PBS like I did. That's what
it was 80s. I wasn't around in the 70s. I'm not that old.
Ha
ha!
Shush.
Not that old.
Oh well, if you're laughing, Kevo, when did you start? Who was your doctor that got you into this all this madness?
So I've told my story before. The condensed version being my first doctor was really John Barrowman, and I got into the show through Torchwood. But my real first memory of Doctor Who, if I really think about it, is probably October 2006, the broadcast of School Hard. I remember, I have this vivid memory of me standing in my living room in Cranford and scrolling through channels and being sort of captivated for a moment with that episode. And it's the sequence where, excuse me, I have to check my levels.
Sure.
Is that a little bit better?
That's much better.
Much better. Yeah. Thank you.
Awesome. Was I completely unintelligible, or was I okay?
It was whisper.
Okay.
I could understand you fine, but you were back.
Okay, I'm just at the crux of it anyway, and it's my real first memory. It's October 2006. It's the first broadcast of School Hard on Sci-Fi Channel, and I'm flipping through the channels, and I remember being captivated by the scene of them finding the packaged rats in the school, and Giles being one of the people hanging from the ceiling and being like,
yes,
what the heck is this program?
Yes, because I referred to him as Giles too.
But it's 2006, so there's nowhere to look for where this is. The internet is the Wild West, so I just sort of let it go for the time being. But then, within 6 months of that, I really had caught up on everything. So the 10th Doctor really did catch me with Billie Piper and with Sarah Jane when I saw them for the first time on Sci-Fi. But, because of the internet, because I was a 19-year-old or whatever dumb kid, I didn't catch up yet. But yeah, I vividly remember that episode on Sci-Fi Channel. And if we had streaming like now, I would have caught up immediately.
Roger says 2005 when Doctor Who was rebooted by RTD, and I was 35 back then. Wow.
I was 19.
25.
I'm not going to tell you.
I don't know how old I was.
Who knows? Time vortex.
Yeah. And see, now you can use a cat alert.
I'm looking for it. I buried it somewhere. There we go. Fine. There we go.
There you go.
For those of you not familiar, anytime you see a cat up here on the screen, we put up the TARDIS cat alert, and that's Beaker. He's 19 years old. Good grief, he's 19. Beaker.
Yeah, that was
beautiful.
Amazing.
Still kicking.
Amazing.
Looks like he's a little bit older than what he looks like in that picture, but I mean, he's still grumpy cat. I mean, that was the absolute. Ramona says fourth for me, Pyramids of Mars on PBS. I've got a confession, and I'll bring Tom in just a second out there. I got a confession to make that I've been telling. I wouldn't say I was lying to people, but I don't remember. I know it was Tom Baker, and I don't remember my first episode. I don't even remember the age I was at the time. I just remember I was that stupid kid who hid behind the couch and was, oh, hey, Timescales, thank you. Greetings from San Francisco. Thanks for joining us today. Thank you for being on Spacebook yesterday for the Doctor Who podcast day. And thank you for being on ours. So I, just to get away from arguments, I just said robot because that was the very first episode. But I honestly don't remember. It could have been the Sutek episode, Pyramids of Mars. It could have been any one of those. But I just, after a while, I was like, you know what, robot. That's the easiest way I can say it. Plus, being that young stupid kid, I saw Tom Baker, all the way up until Logopolis. He falls off the tower, turns into this blonde guy, and because PBS would not purchase the next series, I thought that was Doctor Who. Seriously, from beginning and end, it started off with Robot and ended with Logopolis. The series wasn't over there. Let alone, I didn't know he was number 4.
I love that though.
These kids coming in here, they're getting to like 11, 12, 13, 14. They're jumping numbers each year, and they're just like, I was at number 4. I didn't know there were 3 people behind them, yet let alone 5. The 5th one was coming in. First time on your channel. Thank you. Kuru. Gosh, I'm going to butcher that name, but thank you. Yes, thank you for joining us, and don't forget to subscribe. Oh, wow. Hello there. Hello, TARDIS. I can finally see a face with an awesome name like yours. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. Kuri Sudi Rando Sama. Did I get it right? And is there like a prefix name that I could say? Thank you for the super chat, $4.99. We really appreciate that. That's going to do us some good up there. I appreciate it out there. So let me go ahead and bring in the hashtag guru himself. Let's see if he, and then we'll get to your question there at 60. Because I think you start way before me, if I'm not mistaken. Go ahead, Tom. Who brought you into
the Ninth Doctor's saying, I'm 900 years old. The planet Gallifrey, that it's constellation of Castaboros. Technically, it was 1989. Mm-hmm. I saw a clip from the City of Death on, back then, WMFE, Channel 24, PBS. But I watched part of it. It's like, okay, and I went to do something. So the next time I saw it again was the 5 Doctors. So I could claim either one of them. And technically, Christian, when the 4th Doctor fell off the tower, he did not become a blonde man. At the time, Davidson was still brown hair until we get to Castrovalva, and they say, okay, he's now blonde hair, and he's not wearing boots. He's wearing shoes. Mm-hmm. So, canon.
Oh, I have to go back and look at that.
That is really interesting. And well, I never really technically answered the question. My first Doctor was the 5th Doctor. That was mine. Even though I don't know how old I was, I just know that I was the 5th Doctor was Peter Davison was my doctor.
I will do my best. Oh, Chris from the Ravens flock. Thank you so much. I appreciate you joining us today. Thank you. Yep. Mark Robinson, I grew up with the 4th Doctor. I can't remember my first episode, but I was born in 1977. I'm older than you, Mark? Seriously? Oh, God. Never mind. Timescales. Sounds like my story. First caught it on US PBS, Tom Baker era, and had no idea what was going on. Yeah, I can honestly say that. I did not know what was going on out there. And Mackenzie, I noticed. Traveling TARDIS. So there we go. Who is it? I can't get a face down there. Is that a paw? What is sticking up out there?
Yes.
It is a paw. Oh my God!
It's a paw, and her name is actually Paws too, so it worked. It's Paws' paw.
Paws' paw. Gotcha. Doctor Who at 16 Beyond has a question. Panelists, what would be your dream TARDIS landing spot? Planet, spaceship, future, past, or other? So I guess the question is, if you had the TARDIS, where would you go? What would be your destination? And everybody in the chats, go ahead, please jump on in with your ideal destination. You got the TARDIS, all of time and space, the universe. Where would you go? What would you do?
Okay, so here's just one that's kind of topical right now. I would take the TARDIS and go to that galaxy, or the 2 galaxies that the James Webb Telescope just took a photo of that looks like a little question mark.
Is Q there?
Q, right? Is Q there? I mean, is that
Other
where
genre.
Cerberus is? Or
Where's my phaser?
Because it's a question mark with Doctor Who. I mean, I know that they said that it's like 2 galaxies possibly pulling one another in, and that's why you get that neat kind of question. But
no way.
But I don't know. So that's where I would go right now, because it's current event. I want to know what it is if I can get there.
Kevo, where would you go?
I was even thinking about this recently. As much as I would love to visit like planets and stuff, that's really cool. Up and down history is probably something that I would be more interested in, because that's something that is genuinely so impossible from our perspective, at least so far, in reality. And that's such a harder to reach place to visit. I'm not exactly sure where I would say. Probably somewhere big like New York or Disney World, but I don't know. Definitely time.
Well, I'm going to make this harder question. I'm going to update it up. You get one trip. Where would you go? You get one trip anywhere you want, any place, any space, any planet, any time. Where would that one spot be?
Is there a possibility for Reapers?
So your own timeline.
I just want to make sure that there's no Father's Day kind of stuff going on here.
Yeah.
No, for the hypothetical, let's just to get answers, to keep the ball rolling.
Yeah, that we're safe. Everything's safe.
Mackenzie, where would you go? First, you get the TARDIS. You're going out in outer space, anywhere you want.
Well, for me, I don't know if this would be a depressing answer or not, but if I was going to go anywhere, I would want to see in the future, because I want to know that humanity actually lasted on, where the way things are right now, I don't know if we're going to be like that. So I would like to have something positive happen to see it, but that could be a depressing answer depending on what you see.
Word.
Do you think we're going to go Star Trek Discovery?
Those damn dirty apes.
Yeah.
Tom, where would you go? You got a place.
Oh,
you got a space.
Is it time to read the commercial?
It is, but I'm going to get this answer out of you before we go to commercial break.
Crap. Okay.
I'll tell you what, Tom, you and I, we'll go to commercial break. When we return, we'll get the answers back up there. Go ahead, Melanie, and take that down, and we'll go to commercial break. When we return, Tom and I will hopefully answer that question and have an idea. We'll be right back.
You have more options than ever before when choosing a film, a television or internet series, a book to curl up with, or even a radio show or podcast. Get to know the people who are creating for you. The Hangin' With Web Show, hosted by award-winning author and journalist G.W. Pomacher, is the internet's fastest-growing web talk show series. The Hangin' With Web Show features professional, yet casual, in-depth interviews with creative arts and entertainment pros. Meet the people behind a digital revolution in creating more quality content than ever before in the history of media. Find the Hangin' With Web Show on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter, or simply go to www.hanginwithshow.com. That's www.hanginwithshow.com.
Famous Faces and Funnies in Melbourne, Florida is leading the way in pop culture fun. From comic books and graphic novels to Funko Pops and collector's items, Famous Faces and Funnies has it all. Rick Shea and the professional team at Famous Faces and Funnies are friendly and knowledgeable. Whether you're looking for toys, props, collector treasures, or a new comic book, Famous Faces and Funnies is your one-stop shop. To find Famous Faces and Funnies on Facebook and Twitter, just type at FFF Comics.
Hi, my name is JAIMIE ENGLE, critically acclaimed author of The Toilet Papers, Places to Go While You Go, a short story collection suited to match your bathroom needs. Only have to go a little? No problem. I've got stories under 1,000 words for you. Far from poopin'? I've got you covered, with stories over 5,000 words to keep you occupied, while your latrine stays occupied. And that's not all. The Toilet Papers is endorsed by the fine folks from Squatty Potty, the stool for better stools. But don't take my word for it. See what Dookie the Squatty Potty Unicorn has to say on YouTube. You won't be disappointed. Well, I've got to go, but you can grab your copy of The Toilet Papers on Amazon in ebook or print, or get an autographed copy from me at therightangle.com. And don't worry, I promise I'll wash my hands first. The Toilet Papers. You might just stay in the bathroom longer than you need to.
That she writes a new book soon because that reversal is just getting weird now. She's been busy, and we want to congratulate Jaimie Engle. She made a movie. I'm still trying to find out more information about that, but it's called Just Jake. It's her first film, and she wrote the screenplay for it, and I can't wait to see the premiere of it when it finally comes out, if it hasn't even come out already. So congratulations, Jaimie Engle. And she was supposed to write a new book by last month, and I haven't heard much about that, but I'm hoping that we'll get a commercial for that one soon. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. My name is Christian Basil. We welcome you, and we celebrate today on August the 9th, 2023, and you can use the hashtag DWPD for Doctor Who Podcast. And I saw some of you putting up hashtag DWPD 2023. You can use either one of those, but we want to celebrate the folks who have created all these wonderful podcasts, especially the ones that are Doctor Who specific out there. Got the lovely Melanie Dean, the Reverend Amagon. We also have Mackenzie Floor, the Right of Wands, and Kevo Really, Husband Talking More or Less, and the X is for Show, not that Twitter stuff. And Tom, have you finally got an answer for me, my friend?
Between all the writings planned, well, what would my doctor go? What would the other character's mind go? For me personally, it's gonna hit hard. First thing I thought was Anne Frank, and I would save her and her family.
You're not worried about Reavers or messing things up?
We said no Ravers.
We said there wasn't going to be any.
Gonna allow it.
Okay.
Yeah. No. Go save someone.
Because it's they lost their lives and her diary was found. Her diary could just been found. Simple as that.
Mm-hmm.
In the attic, don't know what happened to her.
Okay.
Yeah, we could loophole this that she
loophole.
Yeah.
Yep.
That we think that she had gone, but somebody rescued her, and she lived her best life, and so did her parents.
Yeah.
As an alias, blah blah blah.
Anastasia, both the animated and the Broadway musical. Yeah. Okay.
So we just tweak it a little, where she was probably her and her family and everybody in there was chased out of the attic, and she left the diary in there, and then later on it's found, and then Anne and the diary are reunited. Okay.
Because history changes so many times. The Romans took over the Greeks, and it's like, we're gonna tweak this, we're gonna tweak that. So history always changes, and we don't know. Things have been told. Things have been made up, so just keep it nice.
I'm good with saving people.
Exactly. Pompeii, just saying.
Whenever they're ready to release the JFK stuff, let us know, because we're almost there, from what I understand.
That shrubbery stuff. No.
And recently we found out that aliens exist. Hey, go figure. If I had a choice, there would probably be 3 spots, and I would have to narrow one down. But yeah, I would. Unfortunately, he actually did it, and it was because the Master was trying to take out the Doctor. I would love to see the Big Bang. I want to see how it all started, and I want to see, what was the molecule, what were the conditions, what did it look like. I would probably want to see the Big Bang, if I'm not allowed, because the Master's trying to sabotage the Doctor's TARDIS, which he did in Castrovalva. I would probably go to the first day of Disneyland just to see how everything panned out. I want to see how things
Pandemonium.
I'm going to be in the TARDIS, so we'll be past the ticket booth.
Yeah. You
right
land everybody else to the gates, inside the gates.
When he's on the microphone, it's going, Disneyland is your land. I want the TARDIS to be right behind him in the picture, and where did that come from?
It's got a perception filter. It's fine.
Yeah, you're
Exactly. Andrew, the video picture looks awful. I'm sorry. My question for the panel: who's your favorite Doctor and companions for both eras, and why? Mackenzie, start it off.
Oh goodness. Well, for the current era, my
oh my
favorite
God,
Doctor.
I'm so. I thought you had your cat on your head. I didn't know her ears.
Put her ears on.
I just like, wait
she's
a minute.
doing
What's your cat?
cats.
I truly thought you had the cat on your head.
I
was
didn't
like,
find my
what's
horns.
he doing? Okay, got it. All right, Mackenzie,
She hasn't
tell
made
us.
it on my head yet, but doesn't say that won't happen someday. She likes to be on my shoulder, so who's to say? It could happen.
my pets have done.
But yeah, going back to the question, my current favorite, well, I'll say my current favorite Doctor of the current era would be Peter Capaldi. Maybe this would be biased or not there, but I am also share the same birthday with him. So I found that out afterward, but I thought that was pretty cool to say I shared a birthday with a Doctor. But for companion, Rose Tyler honestly was a favorite companion of mine for the longest time, but actually somebody has replaced her since then, and that is Bill Potts. I love Bill Potts. I love Bill Potts because Bill Potts reminded me of my favorite companion back of the classic era, which was Sophie Aldred's character. And Ace was able, both Bill and Ace, both were never afraid to tell the Doctor off, essentially saying, you're wrong. And call him out for it, and not always have to do just what the Doctor always says you have to do. I like a companion that can challenge the Doctor no matter what. I mean, yeah, you can make that argument that Yaz kind of did that too, but I like a companion that's able to do that and just not be the Doctor wannabe like Dr. Clara. I just that type of character just completely just. Ugh. So I like a character that is very different and be able to not go with that. So then with classic Doctor, I'm probably gonna have to still go with because even though I watch a lot of Tom Baker, he doesn't attach to me like Peter Davison does, and probably it's because Peter Davison was my very first Doctor, and whenever I see a Peter Davison, I think of my dad because my dad was the one who introduced me to Doctor Who, and we literally had one of these TV channels that you had to go up and you can only press 3 buttons. I think it was something like that.
Oh, yes.
It was a very old TV, and so for me, it's very nostalgic. So that would be why there. And I like Grumpy Doctor for Capaldi. I like that he was he kind of had a little bit of a little bit of 1, a little bit of 6, but he also made the character his own, and that's why I liked Capaldi.
Gotcha. Tom.
Yeah, that's what Mackenzie said. No.
Both shut up.
Right, I'm going to steal what I heard yesterday on the podcast because it made sense to me.
Yeah.
Capaldi's Doctor, of course, and Nardole. Nardole.
Oh, God, you stole mine. I hate you.
I love Nardole. You can both love Nardole.
I know, but
I love Nardole too.
I wanted to say it. Go ahead. Who's your?
I'm seeing that from Christian and many other things. Well, I had a dream. I had a dream, part of a novel I'll eventually write. It was, okay, spoilers, my Doctor, Jodie's Doctor, and Peter's Doctor. We were on an ice planet of sorts, so I'm going to say Metabilius 4, just to keep it different. And I was holding her hand, and then Peter comes up, he's like, don't do that. Stop holding her hand. I'm like, whoa, okay, really? Just for that idea of it, he's fantastic. He's so classic. That's why it was my favorite Doctor. Now, of course, I'm in love with Jodie, but that's still. Now, for classic, it would have to be stealing Christian again. But also, it was Patrick Troughton, and with Jaimie because of the silliness, and and with the death of Patrick was it 1986, and that's when the Guardians of Gallifrey was formed. With a couple months afterwards. So
there's a little
everything's relative.
There. Got it. Alrighty. Well, Kevo, new and classic.
Oh, I don't know classic very well at all, so I'm not going to be very helpful on that one.
Is there a particular one that peaks or that you may be more familiar with as far as?
Everyone knows the appearance of 4, and I feel like second to 4 for me is probably 5 of the classic Doctors. I think those are the ones that I recognized as a novice the most. It's really so much easier for me to say the eras of the Doctor that I didn't love because I love so much of it. I loved 13 the way I love, ambient tracks, that keep you calm. I loved 12 the way that I love, moral, complex puzzles. I loved 11 like an action adventure. I loved 10 like a drama. I found 9 a little too grumpy, so I didn't love the early stuff. I'm glad I was able to binge that quickly. And I don't love early 12. I feel like series 8, I'm fine with it in retrospect, but at the time it was weird. But literally, it's only those 2 eras. Oh no, I'm sorry. There's a third one. I don't love middle 11. I feel like series 6 was a mess. So it's really more like there's 3 eras of Doctor Who I don't love, and everything else is I am super enthusiastic. I just love it.
Gotcha. Melanie, new and classic.
Sorry, I have to remember to keep unmuting. Classic would be 4, but I'm picking 2 because I think Sarah Jane and Harry Sullivan worked. I like that whole disaster trio of them. I loved how much he always called Harry an imbecile, and he clearly wasn't. But yeah, that was my. I really do wish there was more of that. But I get why they did what they did, because they thought they were going to cast an older Doctor and they wanted the younger guy to be that dynamic, and they ended up casting 4. But I think they really should have kept going with it because it was really good. If you ever want more of that, I highly recommend the book from Tom Baker that was ghost written, I believe, by James Goss. That's this Doctor Who, The Scratchmen. Because you get that again, you get those 3, and it was just that was just phenomenal. When it comes to classic, when it comes to current, there's a lot of Doctors and Companions that I like that everyone's kind of picking different ones, that they're not necessarily a tandem, but I think 10 and Donna was just a great tandem again together. So that's why I'm picking like my classic, how they work well together, where if there was the disaster trio that I called for Harry and Sarah Jane, the disaster duo was 10 and Donna, which I'm still kind of interested to see what we're going to be doing with what's 14. Is 14 going to be the same? And all that kind of fun stuff. But yeah, I love the fact that she they had that brother, sister, sibling kind of, I'm going as much as his ego would go up. Donna was there to take him down 18 pegs. I loved it. And I know some people were like, she's always whining. Good. I love it. Let her whine. Let her yell. The Doctor needs more people like that.
And if anybody wants to throw in the chats, your favorite companion, your favorite matchup from classic and new, go for it. We'll bring it up on the screen out there. But I would say, if this is the question, because I think I'm trying to mix it up, because he was saying what's your favorite Doctors and your favorite companions, but I don't know if he's talking about matching them up. And I didn't know if it was a separate question. Oh, Mike Robinson says favorite companion, Ace, classic Doctor, Tom Baker, new era, Peter Capaldi, Kate Stewart.
Ooh, Kate Stewart. That's a good one.
Well, here's my take on it. If we're talking about favorite companions and Doctor, mine's are Capaldi and Ardell and Tom and Sarah Jane. But here's the weird thing. If we're talking about matching them up, I'm going to change the classic. And the reason why is I get the feeling I would have, like, if I were to do a matchup, I want to have a team that I can have fun with. And I think if I headed out with Nardole with 12, Nardole and I would just be standing there poking fun at 12 when he messes up some stuff. And it's just because Nardole, again, he knows how to control. I don't want to say control 12. That's a bad word, but he knows how to work with 12. Whereas Clara, it didn't seem to work out too well. Nardole knew when he could diss onto the 12th Doctor, but he knew when to pull back too. And Nardole and I would feel like the Bill in the relationship was like, oh, he's messing up again. He's going to mess up. Let's do it. And I would think it would be the same with 4 and the first Romana. Because what was it? That one scene in The Key to Time where he walks away and he accidentally steps into a trap, and Romana is just kind of being intellectually dissing him. It's just like, oh yeah, you're in a trap. Da, da, da. I forgot what she exactly says, but I would just be listening to him and just having a great time. That would be kind of my matchup if I had to travel with a Doctor and a companion. That would be it. Mark Robinson, I know this sounds like dumb British question, but what is PBS? I know ABC Fox. It's public broadcasting. It's your BBC in America. It's public funded
broadcasting service, right. So there's no commercials. It's free to air TV. It's.
And they took the chances too. Whereas ABC, it was ABC, NBC, Fox ABC, NBC, CBS when I grew up. There were only the 3 channels, and Fox kind of snuck in there. So there were 4 channels. But PBS was the rare bird because it was publicly funded. Not only that, but they got their programming from the UK, because now we start seeing faulty towers.
That's why PBS has so much British pop programming. So yeah, it's publicly funded. It's not necessarily like the BBC because it's government funded. It's publicly funded. So one of the things that's very American is those Jerry Lewis telethons and all these other telethons where people and celebrities would go on and try to, make money.
You want more programming like this.
Exactly. Right. You too can have this nice Yanni CD and bag and tote bag and because
they were all overpriced.
This Time Life series.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You can have this collection of VCR tapes for $300 for the entire series, and they were so overpriced. I'm just
because they were really trying to drive. They need money. They're publicly funded by viewers like you.
The good old days.
So that was PBS, public broadcasting. If you ever heard that term, it's
just
PBS, BBC here.
They have a PBS Brit, a UK one, I think. I gotta look, but there's other channels now, they have taken that model and gone to other countries as well. I want to say that there is a British one. So yeah, PBS.
I think with the when finally we got cable TV, you started seeing shows like Arts and Entertainment. It's called A&E now.
Mm-hmm.
They got the Bright Mind, but they were commercial TV because they weren't commercial, but you paid for the channel, and they got Smart and Wise. And then you started seeing things like Blackadder and more British comedy heading on over here. A&E, when they first started out over there, they were basically British programming. So they were kind of coming up with the formula from PBS and saying, listen, there's this great stuff that's in the UK. We could just bring it here. And I think Doctor Who may have... No, I don't think so. But I know a lot of stuff that was in the UK that wasn't seen even on PBS was making its way to A&E at that point. Folks, what we're going to do right now is we're going to end the audio portion of the show. If you're still watching, you're more than welcome to stick around because we're going to continue talking. I'm going to still continue interviewing folks. And if you want to join in the conversation, happy Podcast Day, Doctor Who Podcast Day to all of you, August 9th, the very first initiation of this wonderful day. And a great team from Doctor Who Podshock and Dan Hadley from the Space would want to thank them so much for starting this little adventure, and it continues on with other podcasts, so check them out over there. But we'll be right back, folks. And for those of you who are on the audio, again, don't forget to go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/The Traveling TARDIS, over 71,000 WHOvians and growing really rapidly. Don't forget, you can also watch us on our YouTube channel, youtube.com, The Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. There's exclusive content on there that you won't see anywhere else, not on the Facebook page, not on Twitter. You can check it out over there. And iHeartRadio, sci-fi.radio, Odyssey, Spotify, Spreaker, wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. You can check them out over there. And just for giggles, we have TikTok at the Traveling TARDIS if you want to see some crazies out there. Again, for those of you just listening, thank you so much for listening. For those of you watching, we will continue into our after party. We're just going to make the moniker happen so that we can let people know it's the end of the show for the audio. But those of you who are watching, stick around. We're going to continue on. We're back. Go ahead, Kevin. What's up? Kevin? Oh, I thought you said something. Only the BBC would follow PBS method of getting funds from the public rather than the UK government.
You would see that budget go to a 10th. That's the bad thing. PBS.
PBS does get government funding. They also do fundraisers, so they get their money on both sides of the thing.
Yeah, but it's not the biggest. It's not like any other type of network TV because there are no commercials. They're not getting their money from ad revenue.
Exactly. Now you can
Sesame Street.
You can see Sesame Street on
Mr.
Max
Rogers.
now.
Yeah, now you can.
Yeah, just like what? Wait, when did that happen?
Because I know PBS started moving some of their stuff or started working deals with like Amazon for their streaming for a lot of their PBS Kids is now over there. So they're at least now they're using the content that they do have and monetizing it that way to go to other channels because other let's face it, all these streaming services need content since there's a billion of them right now.
Yeah.
I'm not going to argue with that.
And they keep canceling stuff.
And they keep canceling stuff.
We mean about this because Channel 24 no longer exists, so I can say this.
It's not it's not that it doesn't exist. I think it's just called
radio.
WMFE
radio. FM 90 Plus still exists, but the TV portion no longer exists. The PBS station went straight to UCF. You can't finish. I mean, University of Central Florida. So they have their own PBS station. And for a short time, it was competition between Daytona Beach. That's what had a lot more comedies. They also had the Red Green Show. Love that. But once upon a time, it was I was vice president of the Guardians of Gallifrey, and we had Herbie Reagan in charge this time. That's what led me to become president and destroy everything. A representative from Channel 24 came up to us. It was the time of Eccleston just came out. And sadly, over the years, all classic Doctor Who, we had played the first Doctor, second Doctor, and I recorded on beta. And it was, of course, at the obscure late night time of 11:30, and you didn't know when it was going to end, so just let the machine run. They stopped because a lot of the people watching would not pay. Say, you want Doctor Who, but you're not going to give us any money to keep it on. We have this beautiful LP with a hologram for only $100 if you pledge that money. I think I got mine for $30 at Comics and Collectibles. But the representative came up to Herbie and I and said, well, if you want us to bring Doctor Who back, we would like for you to give us $1,000 and then we'll consider it. And you know me, I said, ha! Herbie goes, well, we'll consider it. We never did. And they did play they did play Series 1. And that was it. Never to return to Channel 24 or any PBS station because we had the Sci-Fi Channel, what had all classic science fiction. And that's when they started showing Doctor Who as well. So that's what we depended on. Cable, not public broadcasting service.
Cool.
And I depend on Daily Motion. Someone watches it, someone records it, so I can watch it on there for free, even though I do have the DVDs in the other room. I don't have access to playing them. Oh, I missed it. Oh.
Melanie's got tail.
Yeah, Luna's. There she goes. She just jumped up. There's a dog over here wanting to do the same thing. You cannot jump up there.
Yeah, because I have $1,000 in my couch just waiting to happen here. I'll just buy the DVD. The VCR set, or the Betamax set, or whatever the heck they had going around that day.
Get rid of my VHS tapes of Doctor Who. They're just hanging out doing nothing. Does anybody want any VHS tapes?
I have those VHS tapes. I just don't know where they are.
Same.
I could play them right there on my TV.
Well, I got a question for you guys. With everything that's been happening right now, with Shooty being the 14th Doctor, I'm sorry, with Shooty being the 15th Doctor, David returning as the 14th Doctor, it's Bad Wolf and RTD have taken over the artistic rights. Is that right? Is that a term they've taken over the creativity of Doctor Who, I guess, for a better term.
Yeah.
And then Sony buys out Bad Wolf, and now it's going to be distributed on Disney Plus. Could you have ever imagined that this I think it was within 1 year, if I'm not mistaken, even less, that all that was going to take place ever? I mean, I couldn't even imagine Disney picking up Doctor Who, and they did once. Disney Channel did pick it up once. There was I think it was the first season of David Tennant, and I thought, oh my God, I never would dream of it. But look where we are now.
That's right, Disney XD. Oh
Disney,
my gosh, you're
Disney
right.
XD had David Tennant for a very short time.
Oh, that's right.
Kevo, you remember that thing? They had the what was it, the psychic paper, and they would show it, and it would write on here, for kids, this is going to have, and they would have the noises from the Cybermen, the Daleks, and so parents be advised. I was like, they put a disclaimer on that.
No.
So yeah, it was. Thank you for it. Wasn't Disney Channel, it was Disney XD.
Yeah,
but they had it, and I was like, wow, it's really happening. And at one point here in the States, you could see Doctor Who on 3 different channels: Sci-Fi, BBC America, and PBS. PBS for a short time brought on Eccleston.
Mm-hmm.
I remember, at least our local PBS brought on it. So I'm like, it was on 3 different channels. Plus, the Sarah Jane Adventures was on Sci-Fi as well. So I'm like, geez, my God, I would have never dreamed that this would happen for Doctor Who. So, what do you guys feel about the future of Who? Either one of you guys can take it on, but where we are right now.
Sorry.
Whoa.
Go ahead, Tom.
Okay, let's bring on the negativity. Let's flip the sign over from rave to rant here.
Okay.
So here we go. Yes, let's see what Mark has to say first.
Okay. Due to ITVX and BritBox have merged, I have all the classic Doctor online, but I've learned something new after 46 years. Going to test the panel by this question: who voiced K9? Give you a clue. There was 2 actors. Yeah, John Leeson and I don't know the other name, but I remember. What was it? The K9 had bronchitis or something, or halitosis or something, and they changed the voice for
classic. Okay.
Yeah, it was classic, but I forgot what happened. But John Leeson did not do the voice for like a year. It was somebody else, and I don't know why. But something happened to the Doctors to K9, and the voice had changed for a very short time, and then all of a sudden John Leeson came back. That almost sounds like a Scientologist cult, Rev, except you have no choice to pay them and a lot of money for being a member.
I have no Tom Cruise.
Go ahead, Tom. What was you saying? I'm going to actually look this up now.
Okay. So, yes, back in the day when Disney meant something, I would have loved to see Doctor Who on it. But knowing from my source that is working at Disney, when we went for my birthday, that we do every year, we go to Hollywood Studios and we see that these various rides are closed. He said, yes, they're only every other time the rides are open. They're not paying the employees. They don't want to keep anything going through. And we look at how Mickey Mouse has become very poorly drawn, very Ren and Stimpy, cheaply made productions.
Rubber hose. Rubber hose style. That's not Ren and Stimpy style. It's the classic 1930s rubber hose style.
Rubber hose, okay. I was going by what he said. I wasn't.
Yeah, it's the classic original Mickey. It's Steamboat Willie Mickey.
Yeah.
They've been doing it for 10 years. It started in like 2011, I think.
The show's hilarious, by the way.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, to answer Mark's question, David Brierley did it for 1 year.
Say that
and
sometime.
but it doesn't even explain why there was that 1 year replacement. Why John Leeson stopped.
I swore I read that, but everything's being pushed to Disney Plus, and of course we know about Iger, we know about everything going on. So it's like, I'm worried, and the only thing I had on yesterday was the podcast as we were all texting away and listening and thinking, well, what would the future be? How will Doctor Who come about? We have, Russell came back, we love it. And who you want to see as the Doctor? We want to see David, who is a companion. We want to see Catherine, and we want to see a sonic screwdriver combined with 4 other ones together. And then we come to Shooty. It's like, I have no problems. I always love Doctor Who. I love everything about it. But the way things are, if Iger was not in charge, it would have
he's
things
being
fell
weird
apart.
lately.
They brought him back for some reason. I just can't remember. But I don't see the funds going through. It's like, well, Disney does not own it, thankfully. It is a Sony thing. But I would, give it 10, 20 years ago, we'd love to see all that merchandise, find all the things we couldn't find because we had characters on the UK, and then we had that one company that was distributing Doctor Who toys for a short while. Then they disappeared. Even some guy on Amazon had great prices, but the expenses and so forth. Put it back 10, 20 years, 10 years. I can see everything going forward, everything perfect. But now it's like, I'm just really worried about Disney Plus. Anything that's streaming, people's like, well, I'm going to watch this and I'm going to cancel it. Are they going to come back? How are the people's opinions anymore? Just the bad timing. Bad timing with Disney.
It's a general streaming art problem right now, and I think everything going on with the strike as well.
Yeah,
everything
that's
is sort of
100-day
chaotic.
Yeah, the thing that I didn't like is that the Disney CEO recently said that writers don't need to be paid, and I love Disney. And me as a writer, not only as a writer for novels, but I also want to I want to actually bring my series Writer Wants to TV and it's just streaming. And that, considering my target audience is Doctor Who, it would make sense to go to Disney. But I don't like that. I do not like somebody saying, well, they don't deserve to be paid. We don't make that much money as it is. I mean, really, I make, as an author, I make less than 10 grand a year. In fact, I don't even make 5 grand a year. I mean, so it's in order to be a writer and be successful, the way that this writer strike is that the reason that the writer strike is even going on to begin with.
Oh, brilliant!
Is because of novels, which I'm guessing Christian said, shut up. So I'm going to shut up.
No, you're fine. I was just joking. I was just like, oh, let's run that again. Get more attention for that. No, you're fine. You can continue on. I was just ranting.
You're just messing with me.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, let's run it again.
Well, we'll do really well that reverse it. Well, it's because we don't make money. And they're studios are expecting writers to be able to either want to go to AI so that writers don't have to hire writers at all, which that's a problem in a whole other topic of its own.
Yeah.
Or they want to hire writers and make that the writer has to have like 5, 6, 7, 8 jobs all at one time because they can't even afford to pay rent. That's even happening in the gaming world. So it's not just happening in the writing world. It's also happening in the video game world. Like Genshin Impact, done by MiHoYo, which is a $1 billion company in China. Their voice actors in America haven't been paid. In fact, Karina, who plays Paimon, recently stated that they are owed money all the way back from December of 2022. Can you, if you are a person who lives paycheck to paycheck, can you imagine going 6+ months without a single paycheck? Most people couldn't survive on that.
It's important to remember the money is there. They're not asking for people to pay more money. It's a matter of there is an amount of money that has been made. They were promised a share. They haven't been given it. It's gone to someone else.
Mm-hmm. I think
exactly
a big part of the topic of conversation that keeps getting missed, and I think it's because it's easier to speak layman's terms because everyone's going to understand a paycheck, everyone's going to understand their rate of pay, they're going to understand their hourly, that kind of thing. Not everyone's going to quite understand margins. No one's going to understand the word cross docs. No one's going to understand all that kind of stuff. And that to me is the biggest speaking point on where everyone's like, well, people want to be paid. It's like, yes, the problem is businesses are trying, and this is my opinion, businesses are trying to ensure that their profit margins are staying the same and are increasing. And the best way for that is to get rid of labor, because labor is the most expensive thing you could possibly have in anything. And I mean, I work in product design and all that kind of fun stuff. I do sales, marketing, and product design for my company. And I do a lot of importing. So a lot of the financials I get over everything that we do, it's always in labor. The problem is, instead of the money's coming in, you're getting the money, you're just refusing to have these huge killer margins that if you hit those huge margins, then your CEOs and your C-levels get sweet, sweet bonuses. Maybe take those margins away from the 50%, 60%, that's crazy level. Learn to be okay with your company's fine at 30 to 40. You're covering your operating costs. You're still making a profit that you're banking into, year over year. You can invest that because your companies can do that. Because remember, businesses are people. They are now. We have laws on that. You could be making your money and paying your people, but you'd rather not. We'd rather talk about, these greedy people want more money. So yeah, I can get onto the soapbox for a
Oh yeah. That's why I say you and I together, we really could do it.
You have, trying to tell this back to Doctor Who, you have people freaking out that Disney is coming in here giving money towards the BBC to you've got Sony, you've got all this stuff, you've got all this money coming in different areas that are going into the kitty and to help Doctor Who be better. Now, if I put in money and I've got distribution rights, the reason that Disney has distribution rights is because it's basically like a cross-dock. It basically means I will take this, put it here. I have to do minimal freaking labor to do this, and I'm making money. This is awesome. So they're gonna make some money off this. Now, when I'm putting money into that, don't be foolish to think that they're not gonna have a say to go, look, design wise, or they'll have some say in how Doctor Who's done. As in, hey, when can we release this to this region? When can we make sure we can hold this at this point? Can I release it there? They'll have that kind of say. They're not going to come in and start saying that Shooty Gatwa should be wearing a different jacket. The BBC, Sony, all them people, RTD are not going to listen to Disney with freaking creative notes. That they are not going to have that much power. They're not putting that much money in. Sony's putting that freaking much money in. They're the ones that can say, because they bought Bad Wolf, can say, Shooty should have a different outfit. We should have this person become a guest star. I think you need to start. We have more people in the music genre that we want to start pushing, so we would like to see them guest star and blah, blah, blah. You'll hear that from a Sony. You're not going to hear that from freaking Disney. They don't have that. They ain't got the horse. They don't have the right horses in that race. But yeah, so that's my own quick little rant when it comes to when oh God, so Disney's in here and Sony's in here. I think you have to kind of level set to say, okay, how much money is being brought in, because that equivocates how much say that person has. And Disney is not putting that much money into the creative outlet of what's going on. They'll push how long they can have something. They'll push when they want to release, but they're not going to be saying, look, we want a different companion. They don't have that much money
or interest
because they don't want to, because the second you put that much money and that much interest in it, that means you're putting someone's labors into that. And now I'm paying Disney, the corporation is paying entities to speak on their behalf, and that's more labor, and they don't want that.
If they wanted more creative control, they would have taken or asked for or gotten more creative control.
Oh, absolutely.
This is the arm's length deal they wanted.
Mm-hmm. They want that margin. And they're like, oh, little work, lots of money.
They'll offer resources, like if they have people in their stable that Doctor Who wants, they'll be like, we can get you in touch, but they're not going to, I think, force changes by any means.
Exactly. They're more like they help provide some of the funds towards it. And that's a lot of times that's how these shows are done, where the first season, now, of course, Doctor Who's been going for 60 years, so this doesn't really apply to them. But in general, the first season, you get all your money. And then the next season, those are the ones that earn the money, and they end up paying everything out. Where it's almost like the studios get a loan in a way, it's looking at it, and then to get it all back through as the show goes on. But then you run into residuals, which thankfully Doctor Who does not have that problem where the residual issue, which we've had in the writer's strike too. Thankfully, that hasn't been an issue, and I don't think that ever will be an issue.
I'm sure they would probably love to try and get classic Doctor Who on Hulu. With the way that Hulu has become known for like this hub of adult animation with like anime and like adult sci-fi shows, they'd probably love to try and get classic Doctor Who if they can.
My fear in all this is, and I'm not defending the other side too much. God knows it doesn't need defending whatsoever in a lot of cases. But when you push too hard, when they push back, and this is where I'm getting worried that AI is taking over a lot of things. Where does the limit end? When there was pushback on a certain fast food restaurant, all of a sudden kiosks showed up in place. And I'm just worried that for me, the human element is a very important part of any transaction that I'm doing with a business. If I feel that I'm not dealing with a human, I don't feel like I'm important. I need somebody there. And, customer service across the board everywhere has kind of gone down. So I'm kind of worried that if you push too hard, you're starting to see things. I mean, what was it? James Earl Jones sold his voice, his Darth Vader voice, to Lucasfilms, I think. Was it Lucasfilm or Disney? I don't know, but he sold his voice. And that's
technically Lucasfilm, but they're owned by Disney.
Owned by Disney. And I just saw a documentary. I thought it was just funny. It was a very short documentary. But I think it kind of goes to this. There are now fake Only Girl fans online.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Where dudes are now collecting money from AI. For
YouTubers.
doing nothing. Yeah.
That's what a YouTuber is.
Yeah. It's kind of just really... I always thought this world was like 100 years down the line. I never thought it would just be around the corner, but here we are.
There's certain things that AI can do that's absolutely breathtaking and is an amazing tool to help people. There's also things that are AI that is absolutely crap, taking people's jobs, and the people who are paying the AI to do things can't understand that this looks like crap. I'm looking at you, Secret Invasion intro. What the flying?
It was kind of pretty.
How many fingers do they have?
Yeah, and
all of them.
That kind of reminds me, and I don't know. It's some video game. I'm believing it probably is a gacha game because it has some type of anime style. But recently, it was an English cast were fired and all replaced by AI, and it became such a big issue that they were brought back. But the fact is that it happened, and that kind of goes with Christian's point with the whole thing about AI taking jobs.
Again, I'm happy when it makes things more efficient and helps and makes things better for somebody. Again, tools are amazing. We should all learn how to use them because that's why we have what technology is amazing. But to replace the job and for something that's absolute crap, it's like, dude, you're making a lose-lose just to save a couple bucks. This is
the AI boom reminds me of the 3D movie boom of the early 2010s.
Yes, Uncanny Valley.
Yeah, and especially because ultimately you can tell it's fake and it just gives me a headache. So maybe it'll die.
I hope so, but then I see things like I'm a huge fan of the Weird History Channel, and at one point they did on YouTube, they did an entire thing about one particular I can't even remember that it was a lieutenant or a captain or all this kind of shady stuff. And every image was AI. And I
know what you're talking about. There's these shorts that are like,
oh, this wasn't a short. The full on 40. This is like 30 something minutes of this one piece. I'm going on and on, and I'm going. There was 2 generals on the same horse, because apparently this horse is now a dachshund, and the guy on the horse behind him had 2 left legs. And not one person thought this is weird. This is odd. Why are all the horses wearing high heels? Nobody thought this was weird. We're just gonna keep, and they put it on. Oh,
maybe they
the comments were awesome.
Well, what I'm trying to say is I've seen those things on YouTube where it's just AI, but they have the shorts where they're just like history of Roman emperors, crazy history of Roman emperors part 1. They're only like maybe about 30 to a minute long, but I'm sitting there thumbing through them. They'll give you like 5 tips on 5 different emperors, and then the next one comes up, and and I'm like, I'm getting more history lesson than I ever did in high school from YouTube on this. Just scrolling up and up and up and up, and I'm just like, and crazy history about presidents and stuff like that. I'm just, really? And then I would Google it, look it up, make sure it was accurate. But the images are AI, and I swear to you, the voices are AI, but they sound rather, intricate. But you can tell they're AI because they mispronounce things occasionally, and that's what throws it off.
They're called horse heels. They love them. I don't know. You think they would hurt their knees, but hey, they did look good.
Hey, girl.
Hey.
Unless you guys want to stay, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. If you want to finalize the chats, I know there were a few that came in here. I want to make sure we get everybody. And again, I want to thank Chris for the super chats. Really appreciate that. $4.99 super chat. Karusuti Rando Sama. I apologize, but you said Chris, so I will address you as Chris. Thank you. If you want to drop a super chat, no, I'm not going to stop you. This time scales. George Lucas's ranch. Whoa.
Oops, sorry.
You're fine. George Lucas's ranch is just 20 minutes up the road from here. He has his own fire department. No joke. Skywalker Ranch Fire Department. Talk about privilege.
That thing is huge. I would have.
Makes sense.
I'm good with that.
Didn't he have the same thing going with like Walt Disney World, where he kind of has his own thing going?
Reedy Creek.
Yeah,
Creek, right?
He's got his own Reedy Creek thing going, but there's
the space.
And there was something else about him like separating stuff that he had a little bit more control over, not just a fire department, but there was some more stuff out there. So
zoning.
Mark Robinson's it's coming. It's here. It's already here. It's just putting stuff together out there. Roger says the timescales. Doctor Who almost came back to the U.S. In the TV movie came out back in 1996. Yep, it was a TV movie that was made in Vancouver with the Eighth Doctor,
Paul
McGann, and Eric Roberts and Daphne Ashbrook. And timescales continues. Roger. Yep, I interviewed the writer of the 1996 movie. We've actually had Matthew on here in one of our videos on our vidcast here on YouTube a few months ago. Congratulations, timescales. We've had him too. And we had Vanessa, who is currently touring around with him for his movie. Wow.
I know. I can see the poster, but I can't read the words.
Yes. Dang it. Why? Oh my God, why?
Yeah,
Google it yourself.
I know.
What?
No, I gotta look.
And
I'm looking.
God, that's embarrassing.
I know. I can see him. It's
Matthew
like
Jacobs.
a profile. Doctor Who Am I?
Who Am I? Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Gotcha.
Still being loaded in here as one of the banners.
Timescale says, but I'm also glad Doctor Who did not become a U.S. production because that would have likely destroyed it. Well, technically, it was a Canada project.
It was Canada.
Mm-hmm.
It was
Canadians
Canadian.
would have destroyed it, not the Americans.
Gotcha.
Figures.
Actually, it was a little bit of everything.
Well, guys, in honor of everybody here, real quick, let's go ahead and just do a round robin of where people can find you. We're going to start off with the Reverend Amagon. Thank you, Timescales. Yeah, Dr. Who Am I? Bad on us. Where can people find you on the YouTube channel, sir?
Yes, thank you, Timescales, for being my 45th subscriber. Very happy with that. As it shows, Revs, Raves, and Rants on YouTube. I also have the Facebook page, the Reverend Amagon on YouTube. I make videos quite a bit. I'm getting back to it because, I'm kind of mental. And I'm not on TikTok, so that's how old I am.
Gotcha. Kevin, where can people find you?
You can find me at X's for Show right here on YouTube. And if you're going to be in New York City this weekend, check us out at FlameCon, which is a super cool queer comic convention. We have a fun panel Saturday night. We're going to play a game called Deal Breakers, where you bring a list of characters and you all agree on rules, and you decide if who gets eliminated based on deal breakers.
Oh, okay. Mackenzie, where can people find you?
Well, you can
aside from your house.
Well, yeah, besides from my house, yeah. You can find me at my website, mackenziefloor.com. Pretty much on social media, it's across the board as Mackenzie Floor. You can also even find me on, Twitch. Twitch, there. And twitch.tv, Mackenzie Floor, where I will talk of video games, writing, Doctor Who, the whole shebang.
Oh, Time Sales X's for Show. Just subscribe. So you got a new subscriber there, Kevo. Time Scales.
All right.
And Melanie, where can people find you?
You can find me mostly on Instagram these days. You can find me here. If I can ever put my finger correctly here. Okay, so it's Pieces of Melee. You can see the little ad thing. I kind of live on Instagram mostly. Right now, I just finished my own little convention season. Not until like November. If there's some kind of, I might pop up here and there. There's a lot of things that are waitlisted. But until then, I'm just painting. That is I still have to put, it's just hanging. That's my Darth Vader piece back there. I just did with Hayden Christensen. If you look real closely, he signed it. So I still have to put that on a stretcher canvas and all that fun stuff. Thank you. I'm working on a mall piece. I'm working on a what we do in the shadows piece. So I get to go back into painting, which is nice. I did pull off my Etsy shop because on my Etsy shop I removed the original of Peter Capaldi. I can speak because he was sold at Tampa Bay Comic-Con. So that signed autographed fun piece is gone. So yay, selling originals. So yeah, I guess it's time to start painting 11 now. So I add him to the list and off we go. So yeah, Instagram Pieces of Melee. You can follow me there and I'll post stuff and sell stuff through there. And I take commissions.
And last but not least, oh yes, thank you, Tom. I love that little poster in the back there. Right now, if you haven't had a chance, please, youtube.com/The Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. We're up to almost, I think, 700 videos on our YouTube channel, and we have exclusive content out there. And one last thing I wanted to bring up, because I wanted to make sure that we got this in here. We are now declaring our next... Where is it? Where are you? We are now declaring our next... Did it share?
I don't know what he's talking
about. Did it share at all?
Share what? Oh, you mean that's...
Oh, God.
Well, now it's a picture.
Oh, a picture within a picture.
Wicked World. Central Florida Fairgrounds.
Okay, I'm going to stop sharing that. That was kind of bizarre. Yes.
Okay, so what is
Wicked World at the Central Florida Fairgrounds?
That's outside.
Wicked World is just that. Wicked World Gothic and Dark Fairy Tale Marketplace is just for one day at the Central Florida Fairgrounds on November the 11th. Tickets are on sale now, and you want to check it out. We'll be there. Dalek Hal, if you want to check him out, he's got his own page and he's on our YouTube channel as well. You can check out Dalek Hal and his adventures on our YouTube channel, but he should be there as well. And I can finally announce this with all sincerity. If you're not familiar with the troupe Phantasmagoria, they will be returning in October for a very special Doctor Who show here live, as they've normally done. If you haven't checked them out, we have previous shows you can check out. They've done a Christmas special and quite a few Halloween specials. They will be here sometime in October. We're still nailing that out, but if you haven't seen them, it is something to be beheld, and you definitely want to come by in October. And we are going to have something special for Dalek Hal. We are working on it, but all I'm going to say is Dalek Hal paranormal research and ghosts. That's all I'm going to say right now.
It's something to do with Central Florida because Dalek Hal doesn't fly.
No, he's going to be on the Space Coast.
Okay, so I figured.
He might have some adventure going on, but we're working out the details with that, and we're working in conjunction with a friend of ours who he might be doing a paranormal investigation with ghosts. But we're going to find out more as soon as I get more information.
Shout at the ghosts.
Trust me, from what I'm hearing and what is planned for this, it's going to be awesome. So thank you again, everybody. Don't forget to say goodbye on the way out so we can post it on there. And if you haven't already, this thing's just running. So thank you, Roger. Again, don't forget to say goodbye on the way out. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe if you haven't already done so. Thank you so much. Is it still Doctor Who PD in North America? Yeah, for another 3 hours, maybe.
4 hours, 10 minutes.
4 hours, 10 minutes.
Yay.
Everybody, have a great night. Please stay safe, and we'll catch you next time.